Ooh, eating good tonight, lads. We got another delicious cut of Sony beef. First Morbius, and now Uncharted. And I was thinking to myself, hey Jack, I know the trailer looks like straight poop. Typical bland, yawn-inducing Sony tripe. But Sony own this franchise, and proper own it too. Not like the Spider-Man stuff where it's up in the air what they can and can't use for fear of old baseball cap Feige raining down Disney's hellfire on them. Uncharted is up there with Ratchet & Clank as the definitive Sony franchise. They can do whatever they want with it. It's in their best interest to make a solid action-adventure flick. They fucked it.
I'm like literally in a Papa John's right now.
Again, bit of backstory here. I'm not what the kids refer to as a gamer boy. I've played video games. I've put a good few hours into your get to A's, your GOs, or your CODs, but I've not owned a console for a few years, and I'm a Mac user as well, so I'm pretty sure I'd have better luck running Elden Ring on a Samsung smart fridge than my Mac. However, my old flatmate had a PlayStation, and he happened to have the Uncharted games on there. So I think I ended up binging the first 3 over a long weekend, and ended up really enjoying them. They ticked all the boxes of things I enjoyed in a game. They were simple, press this to shoot and hold that to climb, my thick head can do that. They were quick, like 8 to 10 hours, in and out, no shaking about, no wasting my oh so valuable time. Nice. And they didn't let the story get in the way of the gameplay. They were entertaining action-adventure games with plucky characters that engaged you, but they didn't keep you from the fun gameplay, killing people, and doing all the other violent things that you do in video games. But that also didn't keep you from the story either. It was just back and forth and back and forth. It was great. It was great. I was very much enthralled the entire time. These reasons are also why I quit the 4th one like halfway through. Because they caught a serious case of the modern gaming bloat. Kind of bloat that makes your belly done lap over your belt, you know what I mean? The cutscenes got longer, the gameplay sections got longer and bigger, and it all sounds like you're getting more for your money, but it was too much. It started wasting my time, I got bored, and now here we are. Oh yeah, the movie. Yeah, the movie's terrible. Everyone's taken to calling big blockbusters assembly line movies nowadays. Obviously a wee jab at how quickly they come out and how obviously bankrupt they are creativity-wise. It's a pretty apt description though, because big movies are assembly lines, and the line is a well-oiled machine at this point. Every stage, from writing, to shooting, to editing, and to release, is planned out to a T. That's why Pawn Star Feige can get on stage and announce Spider-Pig's release date 5 years in advance. They got the schedules down to an exact science. So if they're all on assembly lines, why do Sony's films feel the most assembled in Taiwan? Well, let's take a look at Uncharted as our lab victim and see what it tells us about the Sony philosophy when it comes to making poo.
Bartenders in Greenwich don't make Negronis like this.
Sony very much like to slap a big old brand name on a product. They do it as often as they market their own underperforming products within their underperforming films. But that's pretty much all they do. There's that part in Amazing Spider-Man 2, you know the scene, the one where Peter's listening to some indie pop song that sounds like it was ripped straight out of the producer's child's Spotify playlist. Oh, the kiddos like the upbeat music. Perfect. Can one of you 45 editors make it happen? And then you just slap it in the middle of a Spider-Man movie, and it's not like the Sam Raimi being an absolute goat and putting James Brown in this scene. That's peak comedy. I adore that. I bet my Yu-Gi-Oh collection that Mark Webb has still, to this day, no idea who sings this song. Oh, Philip Phillips. Turns out it was actually a #1 on the adult contemporary charts. I stand corrected. Might have been from the producer's old Walkman. This is all to say, Sony care more about the elements of success than the full picture. They'll shove in their own products, horrendous product placement, a ton of setups for future films that may never happen, and they'll just do whatever is most trendy at the time with little to no subtlety. Which brings us to...
Oh shit, I think I pushed it in too far. Is that okay?
I won't rag on Holland. He's a charismatic dude that's really grown into a good Spider-Man, but that's not Nathan Drake. And I'm all for a different take on the character, but this wasn't so much different as... didn't know how to play it.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna get my lawyer to ask the question, starting with who installed that handrail? I mean, look at that. Hey!
This isn't his fault. He was hired to do a job and he done it to the best of his ability. This is pure Sony's fault for wanting to shove the lad into anything and everything. Good fit be damned. I'll toss some blame on Mark Whalberg as well, since he's been trying to get this project off the ground for like a decade. Which is funny because he wanted to play Drake originally and now he ends up playing Sully. Who he is also miscast as, by the way. Because he just plays Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch. And I couldn't understand him at all because he just rushes through his lines like it's his first day doing door-to-door sales and he doesn't want people to cut him off. Who would have been better? Well, this lad thinks John Goodman. Tommy Tombo, go subscribe.
Fuck.
And I think he's bang on the money. He'd be a perfect Sully. He's already played one once. As for Drake, lads, just get Nathan Fillion. Like, we all know he can do it. We've all seen the fan film. It's not too late, Sony. Just reboot in a couple of years. You've done it with Spider-Man and Ghostbusters. Twice.
Hello. Well, so much for foreplay.
Now, before you run down to the comments screaming bloody murder at the thought of somebody wanting a little more action in his action films, I don't mean actual coitus. What I really mean is passion. Tom and Sophia Ali are playing Nathan Drake and Chloe Fraser, characters that are so dang magnetic you can't take your eyes off them. This is one of their first scenes together in the games.
Let's not forget who walked out on whom. After all, you don't get to be jealous.
Wait a minute, Chloe.
If it makes you feel any better, my relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Really?
Mostly professional.
Oh.
I feel like I'm watching Mark Wahlberg's remake of Mr. Mom. There's no chemistry between anybody. Wahlberg and Holland, or Holland and Ali, or Ali and Whalberg. It's like nobody has any chemistry. There's no history. I don't know why they decided to shove so many elements from the games in, from characters to set pieces to things like Nate's brother Sam, which is only there to set up a sequel. Why couldn't we just start like any of the Indiana Jones movies and just get on with it? Sony just want to go right to the beginning all the time. Let's do Spider-Man's origin again. Let's find out the origin of how these 4 women became Ghostbusters even though nobody cares. It bugged me before, but then the mid-credit scene shows up and it's actually not half bad. It's a classic little slice of action-adventure. You got Nathan doing a little face-off with your boy Pillow from Game of Thrones, guns getting pointed at him, Sully to the rescue with the added solid banter back and forth, all in service of getting a map. Why couldn't we just start here? Why did you subject me to this bland origin story where your post-credit scene is more interesting in 3 minutes than the whole preceding film? I just don't get your role, Sony. It's like you're actively trying to break the record for most amount of reboots in a decade. Are you gonna reboot Blade Runner next? You gonna get the kid from the Adam Project to play Deckard? I'm not far off, am I? I think we all loved Zombieland, but now I just look and see a wasteland of really interesting ideas being cobbled together in a really utilitarian and boring way. Very safe. Gangster Squad was like, if you squint, it kind of looks like Goodfellas, but then you open your eyes and it's as ridiculous as Mafia 2. Venom does not deserve Tom Hardy. That man went the extra mile to seem utterly crackpot, and the film around him is this cheap, lazy, no risk. You get the picture. There's no style, there's no panache, no sparkle in the direction. Here in Uncharted, the DP just did Last Night in Soho, and he also did frickin' Oldboy, and yet it looks like it could have been shot by your grandma. Ruben, buddy. Listen, I love Santa Clarita Diet, so if you can get that show back for a 4th season, I'll make sure you're handsomely rewarded. I'll give you like a Celavore Calicos. That's rare, man, alright? So rare it's not even legal in games. Hey, anyone seen that new Liam Neeson movie, Blacklight?
So, David?
She's pretty shaken up.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
Most of the time.
What a waste.